Today I'm going to give you guys overview of, this rent-to-rent strategy, because sometimes people just start on this strategy. I mean, Krasi can actually vouch for it as well. You need to prepare yourself. It's a lucrative strategy, but it's good if you know what you are doing and if you go into it with full preparation, because I must confess, when I started about 4.5, 5 years ago, I had very wrong impression of this strategy. I thought I will not need much money, which obviously to a certain extent, yes, it's relatively low investment strategy, and I thought it can be done passively, and I did not know that how much work I will have to do, or how much technical or how much knowledge I will have to have, what type of things I will be looking or dealing with, So it's a good idea if people, they prepare themselves, before they get into it. So I think it's better that way, because once you know what to expect, then obviously you can do much better. You can grow your business much faster as well. So guys, if you are logged in, then say hello. If you can see me, say hello. And I'm going to today talk about, I'm going to give you 10 steps actually today to set up your rent-to-rent, or before you start your rent-to-rent business. I'm going to give you 10 pointers on that. So it's like a roadmap of rent-to-rent strategy. So, you not only make a start, but actually you have, success journey in this, very important. So, I mean, the reason I can speak about it, because I've been doing rent-to-rent for, last 4.5, 5 years. And initially it was a struggle because I didn't have right understanding of the strategy, But once I knew what I was doing, then I started growing my business. I started picking new deals, started creating cash flow, and it is a lucrative strategy. Many people will, they'll know that, once, in fact, Krasi will vouch as well that, once you start and if you manage to get some really good deals, you can make some really good money in it, and you just got to cherry pick your deals, for that. But also, you need to make sure that you're picking, right deals. And that's what happened with me. I cherry picked my deals because I built good relationship with the local agency and landlords here in my area. And then that allowed me to then, invest in my own properties as well. So I started doing various other strategies alongside this rent-to-rent. So definitely, this is where I get this experience from actually. So guys, if you are watching me, say hello so I can see. If you can hear me, say hello. Yeah. And let me know if you guys are watching, then definitely, and if you are, if you want to make notes on it, because I know some people are shy, they won't say, they will not say that they are watching live, and they won't say, they won't say hello maybe. But if you are watching, then make notes as well. It will be very useful for you, and let me know. I can give you, I'm gonna give you something right at the end as well. So you need to show me that you have been active. You're actively listening. Yeah. So that will come at the end. Okay. So let's talk about this strategy, this rent-to-rent strategy. So what I've done actually, I have divided the whole strategy into, I've created a roadmap, and I have created in that, hi Gaurav. In this roadmap, what I've done, I've actually, I have created subsections, so there are 10 main points that I would say everybody should be thinking about before they actually even start. So number one, what is number one? Number one is planning your business. It's very important that when you are starting into this rent-to-rent strategy, you've got to think ahead. This is where I went wrong. I just thoughtlessly, I just made a start. And when I started scaling my business, I realized that, I didn't really plan it very well. There came a time where, I thought, oh, what do I do now? How do I manage, my properties? Because I wasn't really prepared. I was not really prepared properly. So for that reason, I would say you need to really prepare yourself, because you're going to come across, I'm not saying it's a difficult strategy, but you're going to come across different hurdles. You're going to come across different situations. And because especially when somebody is, in a job, and when they get into this business, rent to rent business, then all of a sudden you become a property entrepreneur. Then you have to become your own cheerleader. There isn't anybody, who will understand your journey better than you. So definitely what's important is you need to work on your mindset. So when you're planning your business, so number one point is planning your business, and what is involved in planning your business is working on your mindset and checking that whether are you the right type of person. Can you handle, all different situations that you're going to face in this business. Obviously, like I said, it's a lucrative strategy, but and like any other business, you're gonna have some low moments as well, and this is where you need to stay, you need to stay motivated basically. So you need to work on your mindset. So if you're thinking of getting into rent to rent business, make sure that you plan it properly. If you need to work on your mindset, if you are the type of person who who becomes very negative easily, or goes into negative zone, then you really need to work on your mindset, because this is something which can be fixed very, very easily. The other thing you need to think about is time. Okay, we say that it's a passive source, but I personally would say it's not passive. It's a semi-passive source of income. Obviously, you don't need, a 7 till 9, you don't need full-time job equivalent hours in this type of business. It's like, for me, it's such a flexible business where I can do other things alongside this rent to rent. So definitely number one is plan your business. And when you're planning your business, you need to think about your mindset. You need to think about the time, that realistically, do you have enough time in hand? And if you don't have any, if you don't have enough time, you need to really think about that. Where am I going to get that time from? Is there anything that I can change in my routine where I will be able to get some time or take some time out and devote to this business? Because obviously it is a business, we're talking about. And like any other business, this business will need your devotion, you'll need to nurture it basically. Doesn't matter what people say. So this is very, very important. So guys, feel free, make points as well in your, if you're sitting down with a paper and pen, write it down, because if you're totally new to this strategy, it's very important that you are prepared with it, so make sure you know that you need to work on your mindset. Work out that how you're going to do it. What tools are you going to use to work on your mindset? What things are you going to do? Are you going to read books? Are you going to... Hi, Barry. Lovely to see you here. Yeah, so you need to think about all those things. How are you going to sort out your mindset? How are you going to sort out, if you are someone who has, a lack of time, if you have full-time job, if you have other responsibilities, and if you're really keen to start this business, how are you going to work around it? How are you going to work around your existing duties or jobs or whatever you are in? I definitely do not recommend anybody to give up their job. You should never ever quit your job unless you are, fully, hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, lovely to see you here. Lovely to see your company. Thank you. So yeah, definitely, work out, be realistic, think about things, can you change things around? Can you do anything that will help you with this business? Ask someone, ask me. I always say, if you want to have realistic view, or you want to get, a real picture of it, what it's like being a renter, what it's like once you grow your business, how much time do you realistically have? So those type of things, but you need to work on these things. So plan your business. And when I'm talking about plan your business, you need to think about your mindset, that do you have entrepreneur's mindset? Do you have that type of mindset? Because you will be your own cheerleader. Then do you have enough cash. That's another thing. So, how you going to get that, how you going to sort out the cash issue, you need some investment in this business. So that, and time is another factor. So where are you going to get that time for your business? People, sometimes they start, and I did that mistake. I'm guilty of that, where I had a job, full-time job, and I thought, because I was told it's a passive source of income, so I thought, okay, I'll not need that much time. But as I started scaling my business, after my 4th property, I really started feeling the stress, and I couldn't really quit my job as well straight away, because I had a very responsible role. So I started losing a lot of weight, because, I just used to get stressed out a lot, and I went through difficult time, mentally. I had lack of sleep and all that. So definitely these are some of the things you need to think about, where you're going to get time. So I'm not saying it's a difficult thing, but you need to be prepared, and you need to be realistic about it. So that's your number one point is plan your business. Yeah. Now, number two, guys, make your notes as well. Anne-Marie, Barry, I know Gaurav, Krasi, you guys are already in it with me, but make your notes, very, very important. So the second thing that is very important about this strategy, and I come across this so many times, you need to establish your business, budget for this business, because when people, say we don't have any money, but we want to start this rent-to-rent business. And this is where I want to, again, I've said it many times here, but I want to say it again. I want to stress it, treat it like a business. You do need to invest some money, just like any other business, you really need to invest some money. Obviously, it's not going to be, like a very big investment. You're not really buying a property. You're not refurbing it, to that level. You're just going to do light refurb, but still you need to have money. You need to have cash between, I would say, 3 to 7, 9,000 pounds, and be realistic. The good thing is, if you go and learn the strategy, from a good mentor, if you come and learn from me, I'll tell you how to then recycle the same money that you get in your business. This is how I'm teaching everybody in our group, because they're generating income, and that income is then going back into their business, and they are then getting more deals with the same money. So, but to start this business, be realistic. You do need some money. And this is where you need to think about, okay, where am I going to get that money from? Do I have enough money? Or am I going to borrow it from someone? Or am I going to have a JV? Or, or am I going to leverage someone in my family, somebody else, in your family, maybe they may be able to give you money. They haven't got time, but they are happy to lend you that money. So you need to think about all those things. So work out your budget. This is where you can't get into this business with, don't be naive. And this is where, I struggle when I talk to people. They want to have a chat with me, and they come, they reach out to me, and they say, we want to start. And when I ask them how much, do you have enough funds for it? And they say, no, we don't have any money, but we want to start. Now, you need to think about different things, and no landlord would trust you if you don't have affordability. Put yourself in their shoes. How can someone trust you, especially when you're just starting out? They don't know how well you know the strategy, how well, you will do when it comes to filling your rooms and, being able to pay rent each month to the landlord. So they get worried, which is pretty normal. If you were in their shoes, you would feel exactly same. You would not give your property to anybody. You wouldn't give your property to anyone, where you would feel that that person is may not be able to pay me my rent. So same thing. So you need to work out your budget. You need to think, how much money do I need, and where do I get that money from? How long it's going to take me to get that money, and be realistic about these things. Really, really important. That's your point number 2. Now, guys, I hope you can hear me. Are you still able to hear me? Say hello and say, yes, I can, or yes, we can. So, I know, then I'll continue. And if you have any questions as well, I'm happy to answer them. So guys, feel free. Let me know. Krasi, can you hear? Okay, still? Hope I'm not just speaking. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you. Yeah. Amazing, awesome, brilliant. Yeah, so that's your point number 2. Now, point number 3, again, very, very important. You need to decide which model, in rent to rent, which model you want to start off with, because I'm sure people who are already in this, especially in this group, they want to start with rent to rent. But is it rent to rent HMO strategy, multi-let strategy, or are you interested in rent to rent service accommodation? They are very, very different models. You need to do different type of due diligence on both type of properties. Yeah, you need to think about, and the way those strategies, although the only thing that's similar in both these strategies is that you are renting a property and then you are, you're not buying. Basically, you're renting it, and with landlord's permission, then you're renting it out, or you're using it as a holiday let. That is the only, that's the only similarity. Otherwise, I would say, once you start doing, you will see that there are so many differences. And also the budget, money wise, how much money you need to start different models, whether it's service accommodation or whether it's HMO model. It's different, because HMO can be started with relatively low budget, whereas with service accommodation, you can't cut corners. I've always said it. So you need to be very clear that is it that I want to do multi-let, or is it that I want to start off with service accommodation? Obviously, I've said it many a time in the group as well, that, if it is your very first strategy, start off with rent to rent HMO strategy, because it's a safer strategy. It gives you that steady income. Once you have your long-term tenants in the property, then obviously then you can just move on to your next one. You don't need to involve any management company because you are managing that property yourself. So it's much easier on you. Yeah. And in long run, because I have experience of both of these strategies, I know you make same amount of money. Yeah. The only time you will make more money with service accommodation is when you don't have a job and you're going to run it or manage it yourself. And if you're going to run it or manage it yourself, that means it almost becomes a full-time job, So service accommodation, it's a harder business model as compared to HMO. So you need to decide. I'm not here to influence you. Obviously, when I look at my own experience and what I've been through, I would say, if you want to pick, or learn from my experience or what I've been through, I would definitely say that use, your money to start off with rent to rent HMO strategy. But if you really still want to start with service accommodation, then be very, very clear on it. Maybe this isn't the right group for that as well, because in this group, I only concentrate on multi-let and HMO strategy. So you need to be very clear which model, because many times I talk to people, they reach out to me and they say, Sapna, we want to start this rent to rent. And I say, which one, HMO or SA? And they say, either. We don't mind, we don't mind. But no, you do need to think about those things, because clearer you are, more clear you are in your head, you know which one you want to start off with, then it's going to be much easier on you. So definitely then what type of properties you are looking for. You're doing your numbers, you're doing your due diligence differently. There are different things you will be checking for both of these strategies. So definitely you need to be very clear on the business model. Yeah. So narrow down your niche and think about which business model do I want to go for. So I like rent to rent, but which one? Yeah. So this is your point number 3. Guys, I hope you are still enjoying listening. Now, next one, number 4. Number 4 is very important again, you need to learn about the legal requirements. All the legal aspect of this business, very important. This is where, it really baffles me when I hear from people, oh, we'll take property from a sourcer and we'll run with it. You don't know anything about the legal aspect of this business. So it's very, very important. Don't take it lightly. You have to run your business properly. And, it's your hard-earned money you will invest in this business. So you need to make sure that you fulfill all the legal requirements. So you need to have that knowledge. So you need to learn about all the legal requirements. You need to learn about what you need to do to be fully compliant. Again, it's easier if you are very clear on the business model as well, because legal requirements will be different for both type of models as well. They can vary. So you need to be first of all, be clear on the model, and number 4 will be legal requirement. And now when I'm talking about legal requirement, I'm talking about learning about, okay, what do I need to do in order to become fully compliant? And what do I need to learn about the area wherever I'm going to start my business? What do I need to know? And different licensing rules. Do I understand them enough? And how to work around them? Because you need to make sure you're going to commit yourself for 3 years or 5 years for a deal, for a property. So you can't afford to just, it's not a gamble. It's a proper business strategy. So you need to make sure that you understand it. And no deal should be, and never ever take any deal blindly from, I say, sources, not just sources, even landlords or even letting agents. It's surprising. It's so shocking sometimes when I come across, letting agents, and they don't have a clue about these licensing rules. They don't understand. So and it's not, I would never rely on anybody. It's your business. So take it upon yourself that you learn all the legal requirements. Yeah. So you need to understand the compliance side of it, when to become compliant and what you need to do in order to become compliant. You don't need to go over the top, but again, you need to understand the different licensing rules. You need to be able to interpret in your business. You need to understand very clearly that, okay, based on the rules with the local authority, what type of properties can I actually take? You need to be very, very clear on it, because otherwise what will happen? It'll all come back to bite you. Don't ever take chances, because if you end up with wrong type of tenants, and if they report you because they don't want to pay your rent, and if you haven't done your, proper checks and references on these tenants, then, they can report you. So you don't want to be in that position, so you want to make everything watertight for yourself. So that's why it's very important that you understand all the legal requirements. So that's your point number 4. Yeah. So far we've covered 4 points. Number 1 is that you're planning your business. Number 2 is you're establishing your budget. You're working out realistically, be realistic. How much money do I need? Where am I going to get it from? How long it's going to take, and stick to it. Number 3 is which model within rent to rent, which model, am I going to go for? Yeah. So realistically, if you want to listen to me, then I would say definitely stick to HMO strategy. It's much easier. It's a specialized niche, but once you get it, then rule your own area, become master in it, become so good at it that, you should almost become really, really, you can actually rule your own area, because by the time you've taken few deals in your own area and you've done couple of deals and you've filled your property, then you know how to work around, your local licensing rules, and you've established good relationship and all that. So definitely I would say, decide on your model, become really good in that niche, and you can become, you can almost, then, you can rule, you can actually become really good. You can become like a known figure in your area for that strategy. Why not? Yeah. Now, fourth one, I said, learn about all the legal requirements. Very, very, very important. And I find people give vague information on it. Don't go with someone who hasn't got a clue, who hasn't run this business before. They don't know what they're talking about. People can just sell you anything. Number five is very important as well. More you narrow it down, it's better for you. So number 5 is that you establish your gold mine area. Now, what is gold mine area? Everybody's gold mine area is different. Now, for example, somebody may live in London, so their gold mine area may be in and around London. It just depends which areas they are able to travel to, their local area, within their local area, or within, on the basis of the time in hand they have, gold mine area will be different. And again, another very important factor in deciding your gold mine area would be, licensing rules. Again, where you are living, if licensing rules are really, really strict, then you may want to, look somewhere else, but well within your reach. So you need to be very clear on your gold mine area as well. Okay, initially you may have 2 or 3 areas, but don't just keep it open and don't just think, oh, I'll just take it anywhere in this country. It doesn't work like that. More focused approach you have, it's going to make it easier for you. If you don't know how to work on your gold mine area, if you don't know how to narrow it down, reach out to me. I will help you with that, because this is exactly what I do. That's what I did with Crossy. That's what we did with Gaurav as well. So definitely I would say you need to work on your gold mine area. Be very focused where you want to start. A good mentor will be able to help you with that. So don't just look everywhere. Look in certain areas and you'll make faster progress. Plus, by you deciding on your gold mine area, then you can also be sure that how much money you will need in order to start that business. Really, really important. Yeah. So that's another thing. You need to actually you need to narrow it down for yourself. Yeah. So that's another thing. You need to narrow down your gold mine area, because it will help you a lot. You can become really, really good in gathering all the information that you need. Very, very important for you. Become almost specialized person in that. This is what I say to everybody. Become really, really good at it, that, earn yourself that level of respect from people, even from agents, landlords, or even sourcers. So nobody can mess about with you. You should be that confident with all the knowledge, in your area. So work on you need to think about your gold mine area. Don't just keep it open for, okay, I'll just start anywhere, because it doesn't work like that. Another thing. Now, number 6 is you need to practice your pitch. How are you going to talk to these agents? How are you going to talk to landlords? What you should be saying. Although I always say there is no right or no wrong. There is not, you can't just have, if I'm comfortable saying, or selling my point to someone in a certain way, it doesn't mean that you have to go with that same approach as well. Because you may want to say it slightly differently. As long as you are convinced with how you're going to say, that's fine. That's fair enough. But you need to, the main thing is you need to practice your pitch. You need to really work on your pitch. You need to think about, okay, I'm going to approach people. How am I going to approach people? What am I going to say? How am I going to ask them? What am I going to, what type of questions am I going to ask? So one advice I would say here, guys, that if you're really nervous about it, start from outside your gold mine area, where you know that you're definitely not going to take a deal. So at least even if you make a mess, while you're talking with someone and you feel that you're losing confidence and you feel, you're feeling really nervous, then at least you're not bothered. So definitely that's your point number 6. You need to practice your pitch. A good mentor will tell you what to say, how to say, and how to tackle any objection, how to handle rejections as well at the same time, and when to feel confident. Even if you are getting rejected, one after another deal. You'll find that will happen a lot, but you just need to keep working on your pitch. And this is where a good mentor will be able to help, with all those type of things. So there is so much to this rent-to-rent strategy. Today, I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot to this whole strategy. I'm sure Krasi will agree to this. Gaurav will agree to this because, these guys are working with me. So they would definitely, they'll vouch for it. There is a lot. I'm not saying it's hard strategy, but they appreciate that, there is so much that I help them with, little things, little details, how to tackle different situations, what to say, how to say. So those type of things. So you need to practice your pitch. Very, very important. A good mentor will definitely should be able to help you. Someone who's walked the walk will be able to tell you what to say. Now, number 7 is learning about different type of contracts. Really, really important. You're going to come across so many different variations of these contracts that, that you may sign with your landlord. And again, you will need contracts that you will be signing with your tenants. Once you've got your deal, then obviously when you start renting property out to different tenants, you'll need to issue them with your tenants with a contract. And this is where you need to have solid understanding that you're using right type of contract, how to fill those contracts. Very, very important, because if you don't do it right, if you don't make your tenancy watertight, if there is any issue with your tenants going forward, if there is any problem, you have no leg to stand on. So you need to make sure that you know what type of documents you are using, how you're filling your document, and obviously a good mentor will be able to. That's why I say it's so important to get yourself a good mentor. There is nothing like it. That's why I constantly, one after the other, even I'm a big believer of having a mentor, because a mentor, someone who's already walked the walk. If you can find a genuine person who can really help you, who's really approachable, will be able to give you all that advice. Do you think I gave to save more money to get started in this business, being in London, compared to person starting their business? For example, living in West Midlands. Do you think I gave to save? Sorry, I don't follow your question, Anne-Marie. Can you please put that one again? Get started in this business being in London compared to... Yes, you need to save a little bit more money. Yeah, definitely, I would say. But then again, when I say I prepare people for worst case scenario, I've got example of someone in my group. She started in London, in West London actually, and she took her deal actually for about 3,500, and she got a deal, and that was a 8 bedroom property. But I still would say, yes, you do. I'm not sure what your figure was, feel free to reach out if you want. But yeah, definitely. I mean, generally, I would say yes, you do need to, because Midlands property, obviously rents are lower. So, rents are lower. So obviously you can start with, less, you need less investment. That's generally speaking. But again, obviously if you're working with a good mentor, they'll always teach you ways around, how you can negotiate and you can pay as little as possible. So it's not always the case, but typically, if you're trying to do it yourself, then obviously I would say if you're trying to do it yourself, then yes. And more than anything, landlords will need to see affordability as well. So you want to earn that level of respect from your landlord. You want to, because there's competition. Everybody knows that, these strategies they're really, really lucrative strategies, So you do, I mean, if you don't know how to save money on deals or how to negotiate, then definitely, I mean, I would say yes, generally, you do need to save a little bit more money, you know. But I don't know your budget at the moment, what your budget is. So yeah, so basically, number 7 point was that you need to learn what type of documents you need to collect from your landlord, what type of certificates you need to have from your landlord as well when you're taking their property. Really important, really important for you guys, because this is something I never knew about, you know. And then later on I realized, oh, I should have really, nobody ever told me that I should be asking for certain documents, you know. So this is where you need to understand, you need to know what type of document, because you want to do everything right, yeah. And if you don't ask for certain documents, you will not be able to issue them to your own tenants as well. So it's important that you are taking right type of property, and you will, yeah, sure, yeah, Anne-Marie, yeah, if you want to reach out, that's absolutely fine. So you really need to make sure that you are getting right type of document from your landlord, and at the same time you're issuing right type of document to your tenant. If you don't issue your tenants with the right document, then what will happen? If you end up with the wrong tenant, if there is a problem, if you want to evict them, and if you haven't done things right, then you have no leg to stand on. And this is where I find that, you know, if you manage to get someone who can actually give you that advice, or if you know where to get that advice from, you know, somebody who can signpost you in right direction, then people don't realize how much knowledge, you know. And I'm not saying it's a rocket science, but obviously this knowledge is very important. I can't stress enough, because in the past, with my first property, I had to let people go, tenants go, when they still owed me 2 months rent. And the reason I had to let them go was because I didn't do things right. You know, when I issued their tenancy agreement, I didn't issue them with the right document. I didn't issue them with the right certificates. I didn't give them right documents. So because of that, I knew I had done mistake, you know, and nobody told me, you know, that's what I was supposed to do. So I learned it hard way. But since then, you know, it has been ingrained, and I now know what you need to do. So guys, it's very important. Honestly, I cannot put enough stress on it, you know, that you need to learn about the contracts. You need to learn about all different pitfalls. It's very important. And you need to learn about all the documents, all the certificates. You need to make it watertight. Again, respect it as a business, you know. That's why it's so important that, you know, you actually, you know, get yourself educated on it. Now, number 8 is how to find right type of properties. So number 8 step will be, after you've done all this, after you made your, you know, you've done your business plan, then you've decided on your budget, then you've decided, you narrowed it down to your model, you've learned all the legal requirements, you understand it fully, you worked on your gold mine area, you now know which gold mine area you're going to work on, or where you're going to look for property, you worked on your pitch as well, you've understood all the documents and contacts and everything. So next step is, now you are ready to look for right type of properties. That's your step number 8. And this is the time when you will look for right type of properties, where you know that landlord will be willing to give it to you on a long-term basis. Yeah. So you need to know how to approach them, where to find those type of properties, where to find those type of, you know, motivated agents, you know, who will happily give those properties to you, and where to find and what type of properties will actually work. Again, this depends on the licensing rules. So this is why I said to you earlier that you need to understand legal requirements, yeah, or licensing rules. And when you do your searches, when you're looking for properties, what type of properties you need, or what type of properties will work for you, you know, it will very much depend on the area. It will depend on on the rules, regulations. So number 8 will be, that's when you will start searching for right type of properties where you can see clear signs that yes, this property will make a good, good property for me for rent to rent business model, or this property is the right type of property where, I can make some money from it. It has to be good enough where you are making some, some solid cash flow on it. So it's very, very important. So you need to start approaching people. So again, this is where you need to learn how to find these type of landlords, where to find those type of properties, where are those agents. Even if sourcers are bringing you deals, you need to know whether those properties will work for you or not. And this is where when you're searching and you're hunting for deals, you need to make sure that you're just cherry picking your deals. Yeah, it's very, very important. So we have so far covered eight points in it. Yeah, guys, I'm just giving you overview because I think we've overrun, but yeah, there is a lot to it. Obviously, when people work with me, I go deep into every single topic, and not just go deep into it. I literally handhold my mentees. I mean, Krasi knows this. Gaurav knows how I work with them. So yeah, definitely. But, I'm just touching on different points. Let me know if you need a roadmap of these 10 points that I'm going to talk about today. Let me know if you need a PDF copy of it. I will send it to you. So yeah, let me know. Right. So we've talked about 8 points. Now, number 9. Number 9 is you need to remember it's a number game. It's a numbers game. Yeah. So you need to learn how to do your numbers properly. Very, very important. And this is where a sourcer or any agent may try and sell a deal to you, and they may say, oh, this deal is going to make you good money. But this is where you need to understand how to do your numbers properly. And when you're getting your deal, then you need to make sure that numbers stack really well for you. It's a cash flowing property. If it is not cash flowing, you should be able to negotiate on that deal. Yeah. And this is where you need to have solid understanding, and you need to understand realistically a rent to renter, as a rent to renter, what somebody is actually paying on a monthly basis. And a good rent to renter should be able to do the numbers. Obviously, once you've done 1 or 2 deals, then you know what you're doing, hopefully. But, until then, you need to make sure that you understand it fully and you add your numbers. And it's really important, especially now, because when bills, everybody's talking about these energy bills. So you need to know how to do your numbers properly. Yeah, because you don't want to end up with the wrong type of property where you are stuck with it for 3 years and you're not making any money on it as well. Then, you are putting your precious efforts, your time, and your, everything into it. You've done so much for that property. And if it's not even giving you any reward, or if it's not really paying back to you, enough, then you'll all of a sudden, you will lose that, you lose that motivation. You will lose the momentum and you will lose your motivation. So you need to understand that how to do the numbers. Really important. And not just how to do the numbers. When you're doing your numbers, what you need to look for. What is it that you're looking for? Is it that ROI, return on investment? Or is it that I'm looking how soon I'm going to get my money back out? Or is it that I'm more bothered about, what monthly net cash flow I'm making on that deal? What's more important to a rent to renter? What's more important? Yeah. So personally, to me, ROI is very, very important. How soon I'm going to get my money back out from a deal. So how to do those type of calculations. So you are only cherry picking your deals. Very, very important, guys. So this is your point number 9. Now, point number 10. Point number 10 is the most important point in this whole strategy. Point number 10 is do the right thing. Get yourself a mentor. Get educated on this strategy. I think if you pick yourself a right mentor, a good mentor who's actually walked the walk, not someone who's just teaching you things from book or from a course or, people, if they haven't done it themselves, then, they can't really tell you on a daily basis what type of difficulties we are facing, or what type of, I'm not saying difficulty all the time, but you need to understand all the realistic side of how do you get around different things. And not just that, you need to think about, is that mentor approachable? How easy is it for me to approach that person? Think about all those things. And people try and save money. They think courses will, help them to set this business up, but courses will not give you answer when you're stuck somewhere in a situation, when you want to ask somebody's opinion who has already walked the walk. So get yourself a great mentor. Get someone who has got some proof, some track record that they have helped people, in the past. Because sometimes what happens, you see people, they themselves have got loads and loads of properties, but they don't have patience actually to work with somebody else, because everybody learns at a different pace, and not everybody has it in them where they can patiently teach you. So you need to look for the right type of person who you resonate with, who can teach you things, and who's approachable. To me, what's more important to me is I want to work with someone who's approachable to me, where I could connect with that person, that mentor. It means a lot to me. To me, I'm even prepared to pay someone to teach me on a one-on-one basis. So they can then, I can talk to them on a one-on-one basis. So I think education is very, very important, and do not ignore. I think if you have right education in place, if you have right type of mentor, it will actually save you time, and the things that other 9 points that I've talked about before, they will actually help you through all those points as well, because a good mentor should be able to lead you and should be able to give you right guidance, and they will save your time and your money, because your time is precious. Very, very important. So you need to pick yourself a good mentor. Guys, if you want to reach out to me, feel free, if I have still space available, then yes. And if we are good fit, then I'm happy to give you that helping hand. Yeah. So yeah, these are 10 points, guys. So think about those. If you need copy of those 10 points PDF, let me know. Drop a message here. If you're watching replay, put a message here in the comments that you're watching replay. And if you need copy of that roadmap, 10 points to give you that blueprint, reach out and I will be happy to help you. Okay, so these are 10 points. So you do need to work on them before you start your journey. And I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much, everybody, for your company. And enjoy rest of the evening. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.